I've stayed in more Airbnbs than I can count. Business trips, vacations, weekend getaways. Usually it's cheaper than a hotel, and sometimes you stumble onto a real gem. But last year, I booked a weekend in a small town in upstate New York that made me swear I'll never use Airbnb again. What happened there still keeps me up at night. It was early autumn. I was driving through winding roads lined with red and orange leaves, the air crisp enough that I had the windows cracked. The house I rented looked charming in the photos, an old Victorian, painted white with green shutters. The description called it a cozy, historic home perfect for quiet weekends. When I pulled into the driveway, the place looked different. The paint was peeling, the shutters were crooked, and the whole house leaned slightly, like it had settled too much over the years. Still, I brushed it off. Old houses look rough sometimes. Inside, it was clean enough, but weirdly sterile. No personal touches, no family photos, no books, not even any artwork. Just blank white walls, mismatched furniture, and a faint chemical smell, like bleach that hadn't quite faded. That night I cooked a frozen pizza, poured myself a glass of wine, and put on a movie. Around 11, I went upstairs to bed. The floorboards creaked so loudly under each step that I joked to myself I'd wake the dead. But just as I was drifting off, I heard something. It sounded like footsteps. Slow, careful ones. I froze, listening. The old house groaned in the wind, and I told myself it was just settling. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was downstairs. I locked my bedroom door, something I almost never do, and eventually forced myself to sleep. The next morning, I made coffee and decided to explore. That's when I noticed a door I hadn't seen before, tucked in the corner of the hallway, half hidden behind a coat rack. It was locked with a padlock. That instantly gave me a bad feeling. Why would a cozy rental have a locked door like that? Curiosity got the better of me. I knelt down and peered through the thin crack between the frame and the door. Behind it was another staircase, a narrow one leading down into complete darkness. I stood up so fast I nearly tripped. My chest felt tight. Whoever owned this place had a whole section of the house cut off, and they hadn't mentioned it in the listing. That evening I tried to shake it off. I told myself, plenty of old houses have basements. Maybe it's just storage. But when night came, the noises started again. This time it wasn't footsteps. It was the sound of something scraping, metal against wood coming from beneath me. I sat up in bed, heart pounding, and strained to listen. The sound stopped, then a long silence. Then, faintly, a whisper. It was too muffled to make out, but I swear it was a voice. I didn't sleep at all that night. By morning, I'd had enough. I decided to pack up and leave a day early. As I was stuffing my bag, I noticed something strange. The padlocked door was open. The lock was hanging loose, the door slightly ajar. My stomach dropped. I should have run right then. But instead, I felt this awful pull to look. I pushed the door open and peered down the narrow stairs. The air that drifted up was damp and foul, like mold and something else I don't want to name. I crept down a few steps, phone flashlight in hand. The basement walls were rough stone and the ceiling low. And then I saw it. A mattress, dirty, stained, shoved into the corner. Beside it, a small table covered in notebooks, disposable cameras, and what looked like clothing. Women's clothing, not mine. My hands shook so badly the light wavered, and that's when I heard it. A deep breath. From the darkness, someone was down there. I bolted. I don't even remember climbing the stairs. Just the slam of the front door as I sprinted to my car. I peeled out of the driveway so fast, gravel rattled against the windows. I didn't stop until I reached a gas station miles away. The attendant looked at me like I was insane, trembling and out of breath. I tried calling the police, but since nothing had technically happened to me, They brushed it off. The Airbnb listing was deleted within a week. I never found out who the owner really was. I think about that locked door all the time, about the mattress, about the breathing in the dark, and most of all, about how close I came to staying another night. Now, whenever I travel, I pay the extra money for a hotel because sometimes the scariest monsters aren't ghosts or demons. They're the people hiding in the basement, waiting for you to fall asleep.